Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really live.
Here we go, guys and girls. We're here in the Wallapai Mountain, and it's an exciting place. I told you it was going to be a surprise. It's a beautiful day, Saturday, Saturday of the 1st of July. And we're in the Wallapai Mountain Park at the Southwest Frith Festival. I already had on my show for a couple of times at least my friends Vincent Allen and also Chuck Hudson, and it's a beautiful place. Now I'm watching here these activities of throwing axes. I find it very fascinating, and I may try to throw some axes too. But beside that, it's a nice group of people. The weather is beautiful. They enjoy their beliefs, and I think it's a great day. Now I see this guy is throwing a really interesting axe. It's like one piece of steel axe. That's a completely full tank. Wow. I like that axe. That's not going to break. All right, let me just put the windscreen. It's kind of windy.
All right. That would have been a headache for you. At the very least. Get a couple stitches. I don't even know what they eat in Texas. They got the power behind this road. Jalapenos, man. Vitamin J. All right.
Okay. All right, guys. Sorry, there was a big. The mead is getting to my body. I had just a little sip, and I already messed it up. Okay. I am here, as you can hear from the background noise. I am exactly in the Wallapai Mountains. It is a the official park of Wallapai Mountains Park, and we are at the Southwest Frith Mooth. Okay, I had the help. I'm getting it right. And there's a beautiful gathering of people coming from the Southwest, and they celebrating their belief, the Heathen belief. And I had the opportunity to meet an interesting lady. Her name is Susan. She's coming all the way from Texas, and we were talking a little bit about religion and belief, and more important, guns and stuff like that. So let me just introduce Susan so she can talk a little bit better while taking a break. Susan, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
So how did you know about this festival here?
Well, this is actually our second time coming to the Southwest Frith Moot. The first was 6 years ago, and we now plan to make it a yearly vacation. It's a great gathering of like-minded, beautiful souls. And my husband and I traveled from the hill country in Texas, about 16 hours, and it was worth every mile.
Wow, 15 hours, that's a nice little drive. And I know there are people also from closer location. I saw people from Kingman, and there were people from New Mexico, and of course Arizona. Question, you were born heathen, or is something that you learned and you found yourself to be heathen with time?
Heathenism, I arrived at as an adult. It's been about 7 years that I've been heathen. I didn't have a spiritual path or religion, so to say, most of my childhood and early adult life. So this is where I've ended up, and it just feels the most.
If I can ask you, what was your background, your religious background?
I didn't have one.
You were completely spiritual, just spiritual, or
spiritual?
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
So you didn't have any pope or pastors, or I don't know, bishops, things like the church. Okay, pretty much like me. I'm not really into churches. Even, of course, as I told you before, I was born Catholic. So, and if I can ask you something, what was so important, at least make the difference to say, I want to join some sort of, even it's not really organized, because it's not like an organized religion, but it's still a religion anyway. Why this I want to become a heathen? What was the motivation?
Well, it was introduced to me by my husband when we were dating, and I really like the virtues, the 9 noble virtues. I really resonate with that. The sense of community, Frith, family is very important, and the fact that men and women are considered equal, and there is no structure, so to say, and so it's very much a personal, spiritual path.
As I said before, even I'm not a religious person. I don't belong even to the Heathen, but I like what you said is let's say the philosophy of that I really like it too. I understand what you're saying. Now, when you go around, and you interact with other people from other faiths, if they find out, or if you tell them, I'm a Heathen, how did you get a response? I mean, they look at you like you are a witch or you are some sort of a weird woman. Say, okay, great, I don't care, let's move on.
I get a lot of curiosity. Many people don't know what it's about and do have more of a negative idea of what it could be. So when I explain it, then they actually seem to be interested in learning more about it. Another thing I like about being Heathen is we're very non-judgmental. So I respect everyone's beliefs and religious path, and I just like to share from my heart about what it means to me. And I never try to push it on anyone, but I like to share information. So if it resonates with someone else.
This is true. I tell you, in my little experience that I had so far, meeting other people, of course, there are always, the asses everywhere in every group. Some people, sometimes they think they can own their religion, okay? Say, hey! But beside that, the majority of the people I met, they're all very, like you said, not judgmental, polite, and they just mind their business, And I tell you one thing I like, I have a lot of Christian friends that they reprimand me for that, and I say, please stop it. The fact that you do not preach, I never found any preach, and and even maybe the scripture that says, the Christian scripture, that some of them they say you must go out and preach. I'm not such a person that I can consider myself morally higher than others. Say, now I'm going to tell you what you must do or what you should do. How can I? I mean, after all, I'm a human being like you are, and I got my own little personal thing that I couldn't do that. So I like that of Heathens. I never found any Heathen coming to my door and say, hey, convert, buy my books.
That's very true. Yes, that's very true.
Did you, I'm sure are you studying a little bit of history from, your background? Everybody goes back to the ancestry. I mean, no, you're an American lady, you're from Texas, but, I'm sure somewhere, somehow, your father or grandfather or great-grandfather came from Europe. Did you find out your origins, where you were from?
I'm German and Irish, and mostly German from my father's side, and so heathenism is a Northern European religion.
Yeah, and one thing I was learning myself, there is also, of course, the heathen, from all the different type of areas. Could be the German part, and then there is the Norse. But if you think about even before that, you go back to the ancient Greeks, the polytheistic religion. There were a lot of things that were taken, at least they were assimilated with time, and the Etruscans, there's a lot of background, in different. It's not just like out of the blue now, the Germans, they became, let's say, worshiping the spirits of the forest, or, the Romans, they used to do the same things,
Yes, exactly.
That's kind of interesting. It's funny that. Did you ever study anything about, let's say, the history of heathenism in Europe when it comes down also to the persecution?
I have read books, but I'm not well-versed in that history.
You're pretty lucky, that. If we were living right now a couple hundred years ago in Rome, probably your head would be chopping around somewhere.
That's very true. I feel very fortunate.
No, it's true, because people forget, I understand now that Christianity and Catholicism, they don't go around, using violence, but the point is, in Rome, there was a square, there is still a square called Piazza del Popolo. It's a people's square. Every Sunday, you used to have a beautiful view. In the center of the square, there was a place where, it was like sort of a cable time TV show, okay? And if people didn't like the Pope or they didn't agree along with the chop, chopping heads. So that's the truth. That's why I say, I feel very strong when it comes down to individual freedoms of religion. And I don't care. People say now, oh, yeah, right now we evolved. But the point is, all it takes is a couple of more people that they have power to legislate morality or religion, and that's scary. I mean, you're in Texas, okay? The show, by the way, my show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom, so I talk about these things. For example, how do you feel about a state, in this case the state of Texas, like many other states, like Louisiana, for example, that just a few years ago, they were able to legislate that you as a human being, as a man or a woman, you, for example, you could not have oral sex. I mean, Louisiana, oral sex, it is against the law, on the book. Yes. I mean, nobody's going to go to jail, but that's the fact. And in Texas, just a few years ago, was still on the book that anal sex was, sodomy laws, they were on the book. People go to jail. And I'm not even judging yes or right, or you should do it or not, but the point is, how can the state can be regulated through moral religions to create this sort of Sharia law? I call them Sharia laws for me. That's what it is. I mean, people, they're afraid of Sharia law. I'm afraid too, but we don't need to get that far. Look around what we had just a few years ago. So what do you think about, should the state legislate according to morality?
Absolutely not.
That's pretty scary. Next time they can go after you or me or whatever doesn't like, the...
What is the law in Texas for oral sex? I'm sorry.
Again?
Did you know what the law is in Texas?
Okay, the anti-sodomy law.
In Texas?
Yes. Now it's gone. It's been repealed.
Okay. So
because there was a Supreme Court law that somehow they challenged it. Okay, but if you Google at if you Google for sodomy law, you will see all the states they used to have them, and people used to go to jail. Okay, so that's the bottom line.
It still is an active law in many states.
I mean, I don't judge people. Their choices, their bodies, and never should be. If the body is forced in coercion, nobody should be punished for that. Another thing, for example, is the alcohol. People think, oh, we are free and we're supposed to have freedom of religion. Yes, but guess what? If you live in the wrong county, like for example in some parts of Utah, and Sunday you want to buy a bottle of beer or wine, they're not going to sell it to you. And when you ask them why, maybe they don't even know it, but probably they're going to say, oh yeah, the law passed. Why the law passed? Because the day of the Sabbath or whatever day they have.
Right.
And that's wrong, in my opinion.
I agree.
So that's why I like Heathen part. It's called freedom. I like that part of freedom. And it's funny because, as I said, I'm not even a heathen religiously, but I completely support your spirit of independence. Anyway, anything you want to say to the rest of us no heathens?
I would say if you come across a heathen, get to know them and learn more about what it truly means to be heathen, and you'll probably make a very good friend.
All right.
A quality person. Yeah.
Listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you for giving me some information and for your friendship, okay? All right, this is a little break. I need to go get another little sip of mead before I go back, but probably I'm going to bring the bottle with me because... Yes, I'm not going to bring...
We don't sip mead here.
I know, but I can't. I need to drive. All right.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order John Luca Zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by John Luca Zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
Okay, guys, this is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom, 13:40 a.m. This is the second time I make the same mistake. I put it on pause, so I had to start again, no problem. Anyway, I'm here at this beautiful festival, and I've been talking to people, and I met the wife of Vincent Elland, a friend of mine that already was on the show. We talk about Asatru. Now today, with her name is Danny, I'm sorry, see that Mita. We're talking about Mead, this incredible sweet wine that is not just wine. There are also other very aromatic elements, like, for example, honey and different herbs, whatever. She's going to tell you now. Let me introduce you, Danny. How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing great, Luca.
Very good. So listen, normally I talk with Vincent about Asatru and different things. With you today, I would like to talk mostly about this incredible gift that I really think is something almost, I don't know, it comes from another planet. It is make you feel great. It is, and you don't need to be rich to say, oh my God, I want to get, this is a pure, it's natural, come from nature. Tell me about mead. What is mead?
Well, mead is basically a fermented, some people call it a honey wine. It is made with tannins like wine is, but you also use acids to blend out and balance those tannins. But it's basically the way our ancestors would have done it. They would have called it a sack mead, and they would take honey, wild honey, which has natural yeast in it. They would have taken water. They would have put it in a barrel and let it naturally ferment until it became alcohol.
Wow. And it is true, it is something that is more than just alcohol, because the flavor that you have, and it doesn't make you feel like, of course, if you drink too much, you get smashed with everything. But it's a natural, and I tell you, it's almost mild at the beginning, the way if you don't abuse it, of course. And you have any special techniques that you create, the own way?
I don't know that I have any special techniques. I don't get very scientific with my mead. Yeah. When I brew mead, I've got a certain amount of honey that I'm going to use per gallon. If I want it sweeter, I'll add a little bit more. If I want it drier, I'll add a little bit less. There's certain measurements that you might use.
This is my favorite, in my opinion. Is it the one with the orange, right?
Yes.
Tell me, what is the name of this one?
Okay, so this one's called Joe's Ancient Orange Mead. I have no idea how old the recipe is, but you don't use any types of chemicals when you make it. It's honey, it's water, it's raisins, it's cinnamon, it is oranges, and clove. And that's it. And I believe that the different properties that these natural ingredients have naturally balance themselves out to give you this excellent mead. It would technically be called a metheglin because it's brewed with herbs and spices, whereas a regular mead would just be straight honey and water.
That's why probably I felt it was much more, let's say, I don't want to say complicated, but let's say more complex. It's beautiful. A lot of different flavors that you can...
Layers.
Yeah, layers, yes. I'm not saying this is a medical aids, but I really believe that it can help you to live better, because all this, for example, people like to drink juices or whatever. This is the best juice you can have. For breakfast, I can see that little glass of this with your eggs.
In summertime, you can make a mead float, maybe a little bit of ice cream in there.
Oh my God, this is amazing. Now, really, I must tell you something. I was waiting to drink mead for a long time, and I'm glad I started with you, because this is a kind of a very unique mead, and I like to see things that are handmade. Sometimes, they're now different, of course, even imported and manufactured, and I'm trying to learn a little bit, but it's difficult, like wine, When you have a homemade wine, it can be different than when you have something come from the factory and mass produce,
I can take this recipe I have for the Joe's Ancient Orange Mead, make 2 batches, one right after the other, and they'll totally taste different. Yeah. They'll have different flavors. It depends on the freshness of the orange, the flavor of the orange, the temperature of the water, the temperature inside my house. It can be very complex, and you can't get the same mead twice.
One thing I think, I'm sure works for you too. Like, for example, when I make coffee for myself, water is the first element. You gotta find the right source of water, because people say, "Oh, it's just water." No, it is not. Like you go in the mountains and you drink water from the fountains or from the directly from the spring, and one thing, you make the same coffee from water from some city that probably is full of chemicals. You need purified water, I think. Otherwise you taste it. Especially if you live in a big city. It's difficult to just say, "Let's just get some water." I tell you, I don't know how you made it, but this. I am really sensitive to chemicals. I would completely fail them. I just don't feel anything but the things that you told me, And normally the water, I really feel it too. Now, what's going on here besides drinking mead at this festival? What is the activity? What you're doing?
Well, we're doing a lot of different things. The main purpose of the festival today, actually all weekend, is to build what we call grith. And it's meeting new people, creating new friendships, strengthening friendships that have already existed. We do Viking games here. Obviously, the Vikings loved their mead. They drank it out of their horns. They celebrated with it. There'll be quite a bit of mead drinking later on at night after all the hard work is done. We're doing archery, we're doing axe throws, we're doing spear throws, lots of competition, as well as discussions and lectures, and just basically learning from one another.
I'm feeling kind of jealous right now because I have to go to work later on today. I still have a lot of things to do, but if I can, I'll be happy to come back maybe later on, and maybe I need to bring a sleeping bag in my car because I'm not going to be able to drive unless I bring my driver. Listen, I want to say thank you very much for your friendship, to share with me your mead, and just to be you, because I really like what I like about this setup here. It's incredible. People, happy people, and enjoy your things. And I always said, I was talking before with another lady. I'm not from the religious point of view, I don't belong to Asatru, but philosophically, I really believe that you have a nice philosophy that is about not judgmental to others, and as I said, to create a good bonding between each other, and also have the things that I really believe we lost in this society. For example, I like people that they work hard. I like people that they have honor, they have industriosity. Things that seem like stupid, but guess what? Unfortunately, in our new values of society, we're all now going back to be the easy buck and just to scam each other. Okay, so I really want to say something. I want to say about your belief now when you go around or you interact with other people. Anything you can say?
I believe that being heathen does strengthen some very classical values. We believe very strongly in being honorable. And it can be disheartening and stressful trying to deal with society that doesn't put as much weight on what we consider to be classical values.
It is true. I really believe, this is in every aspect. It's not just business, but also what you call friendship or relationship. I really believe right now, society where we are, I don't know where we went wrong, but somewhere we really went wrong. There is no more honor. There is no more. If I give you a word, I'll do that for you. Yeah, I can put a contract, that's fine. Normally that's business what we do, but still the word's supposed to be the most important thing a man has or a woman has, And
well, people started putting the value onto the wrong things. Reward should be something that you find within yourself, knowing that you did a good job, that you worked hard for something. At some point it changed where the reward was you drove the nicest car or you had the most money, and it was okay to screw over your neighbor as long as you looked better in the end for doing it.
So that's another thing. It's true. One thing I'm learning a little bit about Asatru in general, the heathenism. It's mostly a connection to the values of nature, more than what you call the consumistic society that today we've been all somehow, I don't say brainwashed, because some of us we didn't go through, but still, we've been bombarded with all that. So I like that part of this finding the true values through simple things. Am I right? This is something else. Sometimes, you can have all the gold and fancy things, but at the end of the day, your family, your wife, your sons, your friends, that's probably the most important thing.
You're not going to take a relationship with gold with you to the other side of the veil.
Yes.
Once you go across the bridge, those relationships that you build between your family and your friends, that's what is going to be valuable.
And also, you cannot buy honor. Or you have it or you don't,
Right.
That's true. Listen, I want to say thank you, seriously, and I'll be in touch with you. Maybe what I'll do now, I know you live in Arizona, so maybe, we need to find a way to put this meat to the rest of the world. I make coffee, but I don't know. I really like this one. Maybe we can figure it out. Do you ever thought about to make it like a little bit more industrial way to sell it?
You would not believe the types of governmental regulations you have to go through to be able to produce alcoholic beverages for sale. Being a religious leader within the Asatru community, I can make mead for religious purposes. Without having to get some type of FDA or alcohol and firearms.
As I said, though, we have to ask for a permit for everything we do. Just because it's alcohol. How dare you? You're having fun.
Can I build a fence on property?
Oh, that. But think about, fence. But now, especially when it comes down to some things, like, for example, something that's supposed to be natural, okay? Even this is just coming from grapes and whatever. You have honey. But just because there is some fermentation, it gives you some pleasure, some enjoyment, everything that gives you enjoyment, government must regulate it.
It must be regulated.
This is really sad, and but unfortunately, hopefully, we will educate more people and start to get. Listen, we had a very, very bad just a few years ago, not that far ago, talking about Sharia law. We had Sharia law in America, you know that. During the Prohibition, you were not able to drink alcohol. Don't you remember that?
Yes, yeah, when you're talking about prohibition back in the 19...
Is that not Sharia law? That's the government, because they have their morals. They try to legislate their morals because they think, you're going to be a bad person if you drink alcohol, or if you have that beer or the glass of wine, you go to jail.
Yeah, that's a very interesting connection there, but I agree with you.
And, I always say, we're always not that far away from moral or religious prosecution. Because today, the wine is allowed, but think about it. In some part of the states, you cannot go on Sunday to buy a bottle of alcohol.
And there's certain states that tell you what percentage of alcohol you're allowed to consume.
So that's why I believe in 100%, or you have freedom or you don't have it. It's not like religion, or you have, you can say, okay, now we pick and choose what we want, Anyway, Lista, thank you very much. And next time, we'll maybe figure it out to make some sort of a clandestine operation. I'm just kidding, guys, okay? Don't do that. I understand the pain. Lista, as a gun manufacturer and federally licensed, oh, Jesus, I really, owe your gods. And I see what type of drama you have to go through. But, you know what, though? I think it would be a market. Let me tell you, I'm pretty good with the smell when it comes down to business, because I really believe now all the meat that we have mostly is imported, or it is not as good as this one. So I think you have a chance, and sometimes you got to go through a lot of pain and misery, but if you endure, you may have, never know, the new big brand of meat, okay, in America.
Well,
how would you call the brand?
We would probably call it Viking Jack's Mead.
All right, sounds great. I like even the name. Listen, nice meeting you again, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, let's take a nice little photo for posterity, and see you later. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short, and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
Here we go back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. This is the final hour. Hours about love. It's about a segment really about love. People say, what are you talking about, Luca? You just went there. You had fun. You drank mead, and you talk about things that probably we don't care. That's exactly the idea. Not because everything you care or we are the same, we must somehow be interested. For example, first of all, I really like the Asatru people. I really feel comfortable with them. I feel comfortable with the Heathens in general. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some people out there that are somehow jackasses, no matter what type of affiliation they have. But in general, most of the people that I met from this group, I feel very confident or very comfortable. Let's put it this way. I like when people talk to me into my eyes. And when I talk to them into their eyes, they don't run around. When for them, the attachment, the connection to nature means something. The word honor means something. Simple things mean something. The reconnection to the ancestors means something. Simple values, but they are foundations of every human being. Freedom, be independent. Do not ever bow down to anyone. I mean, those things for me, I don't care how you want to call them, because I tell you, when it comes down to me, this type of, let's say, belief, it is not even religious. It is a belief of a lifestyle. It's a belief of how you want to be one day remembered as a man or as a woman. More important, how you want to live your life. So I really like him. I had a great time. I met Vincent Erland. I hope I pronounced it right. The last name, I'm always so bad, and I'm sorry. Sometimes I really have a hard time, pronouncing names. But Vincent, you know what I mean. And so, of course, Chuck Hudson, great guy. And more important, I met the ladies, these incredible ladies, very independent. They do a lot of activities. I met the wife of course, of Vincent. You heard the interview. She shared with me the wine, how to make mead and all these things. That was very incredible. I really enjoyed the opportunity, and I think it was something that I hope I can do it again, and somehow I can meet them again. That's all I can say. Now, why you say this is, Luca, it's about love. Let me tell you why it's about love. Because it's very sad when I see around people with different beliefs who believe to be better than others. And it doesn't matter what type of religion. It can be Christian, can be other religion, I don't know. But, I hate when people judge others. That's a fact. Then, of course, there is a new twist. They're not really new. The Muslim twist, they don't just judge you, they just chop your head. That's another level. But seriously, even when it comes down to just try to make you believe that I'm better than you, and, you should need to repent and all this stuff, I have very big trouble with that. I don't like it. And what I like about the heathens, they don't do that. They don't talk down to you. They mind their business. They do their life. They accept you if you're nice, if you're a decent human being. They don't even care what you are. All they care that you respect them and they respect you. So that's my point. And I really believe this is the foundation of love. It's called respect. It's called, respecting each other's personality, respecting each other's belief. That's the idea. I have no problem with anybody, seriously, guys. You can believe in the owl. Fine with me. You can believe in Santa. Fine with me. It's your business. But when it comes down, people are trying to impose their belief on others psychologically, or let's say through legislation or through force. I have a problem with that. That's all I can say. So now, back to this. I really think it was a great experience. And by the way, I love the mead, this sweet wine. People think, oh, it's just wine. No, it is not just wine. There is much of preparation. There are different types, And I think it's incredible. It is really incredible. And I like, hopefully, to start to learn how to make it myself. Do I need a license for that? Just kidding. Yeah, right. You never know. In these days, even if you make it for yourself, they may come into your home and raid you. Anyway, dear guys and girls, that was the little experience I wanted to share with you about this festival, the Southwest Frith Mooth Festival, limited sanctuary for a limited time. I had them on my show for a couple of times. Now let's talk about something else, something that is connected. About the Scadi rifle, I talked to you about probably enough. Say, oh gosh, again, look at, yes, again. This is different though. I'm not trying to sell your rifle. I'm not trying to sell anything, honestly. You can buy whatever you want. I'm just trying to bring you great products for great prices. But what I'm trying to talk now here in the hour about love, when it comes down to Scadi, it is not even about the rifle. It's about a man who I met. I went all the way to Vancouver in British Columbia just a few months ago. And destiny made it that we met. We became friends. He was a Facebook friend of mine. I had him on my show several times, at least a couple times. And I really liked the man. He was a warrior with a golden heart. His name is, now I can tell you the real name, because when we used to have him on the show, somehow for fear of, persecution, political persecution, especially when you are a veteran and you try to collect some benefits that they owe you, it's very sad, So all I can say, Tyrssen, Jack Maghuider, I don't know if I pronounce it right. Tyrssen, you're my friend. Wherever you are, I will think about you. And I know it's going to be just something for a limited time. And so Tyrssen was my friend who suddenly left us. People say, really, Luca, what he has to do with SCAD and all this stuff? Now I tell you what's got to do. First of all, I was a human being that, I met and I like him. And I consider him a brother in freedom. That's what it is. That for me was probably the most important thing. Somebody I respect, because regardless if you live in Canada or America or Africa, wherever you are, if you believe in freedom, if you stand for the goodness, and you're not afraid to stand for good, I tell you, you are my brother, you are my sister. Okay, that's all I can say. Tyrssen was a Canadian Army veteran who was very concerned about, let's say, what's happening right now, not just in Canada, but in general, around the world, in Europe. Of course, he was a Canadian man. He fought under the Canadian Army. And he almost lost his life. He almost lost his leg in Afghanistan. Of course, then all many veterans, then he woke up and he realized that, unfortunately, Afghanistan wasn't exactly what we've been told. And it still was something for him hard to absorb, to metabolize. Meanwhile, you see all your friends and brothers, they're not your friends, they become brothers. Many of them died, many of them that didn't come back. Who came back maybe without legs, without a limb, or maybe without any more the condition to be considered normal. And you know what it means when you're a veteran, you become some sort of a post-traumatic stress, you don't have the help you need. Can become a very dramatic story, when you see your brother probably just killing himself. So anyway, but when I met Tyrssen a few months ago in Canada, he was okay, at least from outside. I thought, yes, as a man who went through a lot of troubles and emotional troubles, physical troubles, but he was trying to be strong. A couple of days ago, I received this phone call. I see a Canadian number, and I thought maybe it's Tyrssen. Great. We were trying to touch base with each other. And unfortunately, the problem was that we couldn't find each other. It was different time zone, and I don't know. His phone was down. I tried to call him, and my damn Facebook. He tried to call me on Facebook today, like a couple of weeks ago, and I was blocked for a couple of days. I got so mad I could even instant message him. So anyway, it didn't work out. Out of the blue, I received this phone call a couple of days ago, and it wasn't Tyrssen's voice. It was somebody else. And the man says, I'm Tyrssen, brother. Are you Luca? And I said, yes, I am. I knew something was wrong. And he said, Tyrssen is gone. Tyrssen is dead. I'm not going to give you the details because it's his business how he went. Well, I know that he left us. And it's shocking sometimes. Even I understand death, life. It's just a transition, I really believe. Just a transition to another dimension. And probably it's better off than many of us here stuck in this planet called hell. Even it's hurt, but it's always a struggle. So really believing it's a better place, reconnecting with his ancestors. He was a heathen guy. He believed, probably in different beliefs that you may believe or I may believe. He was a man that, regardless, he believed in good. He believed in honor. He believed in strength. He believed that he always ready to defend the weak. I mean, in just a few months, I remember during December, they found him unconscious on the ground, and he woke up in the hospital with a broken head almost because he was defending a lady, an older lady, that she was attacked by 2 Somali refugees, Muslim, by the way, just because we had to tell all the story. And nobody was doing anything. She was being mugged in the middle of the day, and everybody was pretty much minding their business. He was the only man there, stood up, and of course, they broke a bottle of glass on his head. And then I remember my show, the last show, I had him on the show. What happened? He went to rescue 2 little girls at the train station. They were surrounded by probably about a handful, 6, 7 of other refugees or people who looks like pretty much like that, all the same religion of peace, of course. He was able, the girls ran, and he was found himself alone, surrounded by 6 thugs. And of course, he got into a fight. Then police arrived and they arrest him. So that was Tyrssen. That's what I mean. I'm proud of him. And I remember when I went there to Canada, Tyrssen, I know you're listening. Maybe different type of radio station, but you're listening. I know that. We were talking about freedom, guns, politics,
drinking beer on the lake. This Burnaby, this little town just outside Vancouver, drinking beer. You know, and also we were talking about something that for me was very important. You know, I learned in all these things. I'm always a very thirsty person when it comes down to knowledge. Asatru, there was the belief that Tyrssen had. I'm not a follower of any religious group or belief, but I am, let's say philosophically, I feel that his belief is close to my belief when it comes down to, as human being, who I am. Philosophically, I don't need to be joining their function or pledge to their gods. No, but philosophically, I felt them close. I felt like we were the same. So we were talking about all these things, and I always like to learn. You know, I try to learn as much as I can. And just a few months before, we were talking about, you know, say, Tyrssen, I'm starting a new business. I want to get into the gun business, but I want to not just create rifles or manufacture rifles. I want to create identities. Each rifle has a personality. Each rifle has a soul, has a message. So, wow, that's a great idea. I like that, Luca. So I need your help. You know, what do you think? And he came up with a name that for me at the time was kind of really mysterious. Scary. That was almost a year ago, honestly. Started to talk over the phone, you know, before even we met. So scary. And they said, I said, who's scary? And he started to tell me, you know, say, look, this is scary, you know, the goddess in our Norse culture, that she was the semi-goddess with blah, blah, blah. Wow, I like that. Then I started to do some research and I said, wow, she's really the great personality for my new rifle. Then, of course, you know, I met him in Vancouver, come back to the States, and I started to work really to put Scary together. And, you know, just before one of the last conversations we had, you know, I still have his message here. You know, it breaks my heart. I still have, it's my God, I'm almost, you know, I'm emotional sometimes, and in a positive way, you know. I see here the last message I have. Wow. He said, wow, Scary is like a laser. It's like, let me see exactly what he said. Anyway, he loves Scary. He said, wow, I'm so impressed. You know, I mean, from an idea that, you know, we were talking over the phone and in person at the lake, drinking a beer, now is real. Now it is real, you know. So, and you really like it. And honestly, I was trying to involve him in business. You know, I really like to work with people like him. That's the idea. So anyway, Tyrssen right now, he left this dimension. Let's put it this way. I really believe he reconnected to his ancestors, and I think he's having a better time than probably what we're doing here. But regardless, I want to say this, Tyrssen. You really, in a positive way, influenced who I am today. I always believe that we go out there in this planet and we somehow learn, and our experiences of the past make us what we are today. And it's like almost a cycle, you know. I believe that. So I feel really proud that I had the chance to meet him, even just for a limited time. You know, after all, you know, we met just one time in person, but I had really a great human experience with him. So anyway, I also had the chance to talk to his grandmother. It was a function of the day. And then, of course, I talked to his stepbrother. And that's all I'm saying. People say, really, Luca, is this the hour about love? Yes, it is about love. Because this is to remind us that we're here for a limited time. And look, I have in front of me here my instant message with Tyrssen. And I say, hey, call you now. That's what he said. He called me now. He never was able to call me. Okay? And I say, hey, give me your number where I can call you. I call you tonight. And we never call each other. So think about that. When you go out in the morning, you leave your house, you leave your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, whatever you have, your lover, your son, your daughter. You know, don't assume that there is tomorrow Don't assume anything. Don't assume anything. Don't assume anything. Don't assume that you're going to be back. Always think that could be the last time you meet each other, you find each other. So even if you have a little bit of a bad day, even if you have maybe a little bit of resentment, or maybe you're having a, kind of anger or whatever, you're mad, even sometimes justly, maybe you are the right person, you did everything right. Still, think about what if I'm never going to see him anymore? What if this is the last time I saw her or I saw him? Don't live like that. Life is important. Yeah, there are a lot of important things we do. We work and we do a lot of things. Everything is important, don't get me wrong. But then everything is really relative, don't you think? At the end, when you put everything in perspective with death, even it's not really death for me, it's just a transition. But meanwhile, we leave behind the people that right now we are connected to. I think we should think about that. That's all I can say. And I think if we can look at this in this perspective, we're going to live like better people. We're not going to get mad anymore at things that really make no sense sometimes. Why should we get mad? Why? For what reason? Yeah, of course, sometimes you need to get mad, okay? But at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. Put everything in perspective. So, Tyrssen, I'll see you again, my friend, and we're going to shoot rifle together, by the way. And this time, it's not going to be Trudeau going around or permits and crap and stuff like that. We're going to shoot free, okay? Maybe we're going to have better than rifles. We're going to have some other weapons. Who knows? The point is no more permits. We have rights in this life and in the other life. So that's my point. That's my point. Now, I should probably take a break. I should tell you probably about the book. How's it doing? Perfectly crazy. About the new songs I'm working on. I don't know. But I feel for a moment today, I would like just stop it here. I don't want to talk about the things. Because I think right now, I want to leave a message. The most important message is what I just told you before. Don't be an arrogant. Don't think that you're going to be here forever. Never forget we are human beings. And the time we've been given, it's limited. I'm not preaching. No, I'm not trying to tell you to convert, to do anything. Do what you want. But just be nice. Just remember that you're not going to be here forever. Don't waste your time. Appreciate every second you have. And be nice to each other. Doesn't mean that you need to be a sheep. Doesn't mean that you need to have always, turn the other cheek. No way. Somebody is an ass with you. Do what you have to do. Defend yourself and stand up for your rights. But at the same time, be nice whenever you can. That's what I'm saying. So I may play a song just to just, I don't know, honor Tyrssen. By the way, the new Scadi commercial, it is almost finished. I will dedicate it in honor and memory of my friend Tyrssen. And I need to learn how to pronounce his name. The first name I got it. I'm bad with last names. I'm sorry. Tyrssen, Jake, Meg, Heathen. Hopefully I got it right. Anyway, I will write it right. It will be in the credits of my commercial and also of the short movie Scadi. Because without him, Scadi would never have existed. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna. We'll play now a little song in honor of Tyrssen. And then we finish up. Do not go away.
Okay, that was a song of one of my favorite new singers, Merker. I think I pronounced it right, from Denmark. I know Tyrssen like this type of music, and I like it too, honestly. You know, I may be born in Rome, I may be speaking another language, or at least, another accent. Now we speak English, body English, or at least we used to speak body English. But that idea, we are not that different at the end. We are human beings. And when we have the same values in common, at that point, I call you brother, I call you sister. That's all I care. That's it. And it's beautiful. This is, for me, one of the most beautiful experiences, to find each other in this life and to share time, to share this fight, this struggle against evil, to try to do our duty as human beings, free human beings. That's what really makes us together unique. At the same time, we have things in common. So that's all I want to say. Enough said about that. I want to remind you, the show is here because of your help. I need your help. I know you've been listening, some of you, for probably since the beginning. And you understand what it means when you are on the show, when we do the show. I try to create a show and I can talk about things that normally no other radio stations allowed to talk, especially when you're commercial. Topics like what I touch, they're really hard to sell sometimes. Sponsors don't want to talk about this. Guess what? We can support K-Talks and support any other station who will broadcast this show. And also please support my effort. You can help me just with 99 cents. You can go to www.zanna.us, download any of my songs, and now you can see at zanna.us there is also the link of my new book, my erotic poems book, Perfectly Crazy. 69 erotic poems and love visions by Luca Zanna for just $4.99. Yes, you can enjoy things like that. People say, we have so many problems in life. Should we talk about erotic poems? That's exactly what we need to preserve, is our humanity. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Yes, in the morning you want to wake up and do what you have to do as a man or as a woman. Stand up for what is right. By night, get together with your friends, get together with your family, enjoy life. Be nice, love each other. Drink mead. By the way, I'm getting now a trade. I had a trade with a Facebook friend of mine. She's a nice lady from North Carolina. She used to be in Hawaii. She's really like a Viking. I mean, she goes out and she kills wild pigs with a knife. Wow. And she shoots guns better than many men I know. And she makes meat. Wow. She brews this meat. That sounds great. So hopefully I know we have a trade going on. Some Zanna coffee with some meat. That would be great. I already know we got a deal. So anyways, talking about Zanna coffee, I appreciate your help. If you can support the show also, that's another way. Go to www.zannacoffee.com. Next Sunday, who knows if I'm going to be around. Seriously. I always like to say, talk to you next Sunday. Really. You are really so sure and confident and almost arrogant. Only if we were arrogant, we would say, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll try my best. Trust me, I want to be around for a while. I still have a lot of things to do. My mission is not over here. Like I know yours is not over. We're here. If you listen to the show, you're not just a regular guy. Trust me. Something's wrong. You want to try to find the fix. That's why probably we are connecting. Maybe you hate me. That's fine. Still, there is a reason why you listen to me. So I say, if you're listening to each other, I think we have a little connection here. And I really appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And if you send me input or help to create a show, I appreciate it. I need it. Hey, look, I have a new guest. What do you think about that? Great. Oh, look, maybe you can do this better. Maybe you can improve that. I'm listening. I know sometimes I'm trying a little, overwhelmed and say, excuse me. But, at the end of the day, I appreciate your help and your input. All right, that's enough. God's willing, I will talk to you next Sunday. Meanwhile, have a great week. You're listening, or you've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM in our United States.FM network. Please, if you want to hear and listen to the rebroadcast of the show, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Ciao.